Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, travel professionals, and welcome to today's training session. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to join us. We do appreciate it. I am Doug Cook. I'm the publisher of Jack's Facts Travel Marketing, and I will be your moderator today. And today I'm joined by Mike Adams and Christina Zimmer, representing the Upper Rhine Valley region. The Upper Rhine Valley actually includes 3 countries, Germany, France, and Switzerland, which are all connected, of course, by the Rhine River. Before I turn the presentation over to Mike and Christina, we have a short video to show you which will highlight the beauty of this region. Also, after the presentation, there will be time for questions and answers, so do please put those in the space provided, and we promise to get those. And now let's take a look at the video. Okay, there we have it.
Very well.
Mike,
Sorry.
Christina, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Doug. It's a pleasure to be back with Jack's Facts after a while. Thank you for providing the opportunity. We're obviously talking live from Germany right now. The weather, unfortunately, this May is not as brilliant as we would expect it usually, but we probably are keeping all the nice weather for everyone to come back once everything's restarted. And we're very happy that the EU has opened up the borders again for vaccinated Americans, and at the pace the Americans are going, I believe that you as travel professionals will have a tremendous opportunity to sell into Europe and certainly get a good part of the pinned up demand. I realize, or we realize, that of course there are many, many opportunities to travel within Europe and many places to visit. And one of the areas we wanted to introduce to you is the Upper Rhine Valley. Now, the Upper Rhine Valley, when you hear the word Rhine, I'm sure that many of you will associate a Rhine River cruise with that. And there are many parts of the Rhine, and therefore, thank you, Christina, that looks beautiful. Many parts of the Rhine which we wanted to briefly show you and familiarize you with. The Rhine actually starts out in Switzerland on the very bottom, and then meanders through Lake Constance, the second largest lake in Europe, and then becomes, at one point in time, you see the green portion there, the Upper Rhine, the Oberrhein, as we would call it. And then comes the Middle Rhine. Now, this is the part which I would assume some of you recognize, because the different pictures, very often the day excursion boats and are in that part of the Middle Rhine. And then it continues on through the Lower Rhine area into the Netherlands. So all in all, I think it's important for you to know, just for some size comparisons. The Rhine is about 1,250 kilometers or 750 miles long in total. So this is about a third of the Mississippi. And just to give you some dimensions, you all know Europe is rather small, and with some of the train systems and some of the public transportation, you realize that it is easy to get from A to B. What we're talking about today is the Upper Rhine Valley, and that is, you see the area in the red shape. And we're talking about three countries. We're talking about Switzerland, we're talking about France, and we're talking about Germany. And in particular, of course, the area around Basel, or Bâle as it's called in English, the Alsace area in France, and of course the Black Forest in Germany. Now, the other area which is highlighted up north in the pink color, or highlighted in pink, is the area that I guess some of you are more familiar with, and this is why we feel this time we'd like to focus on the Upper Rhine Valley area. And I think this is the part where Christina takes over.
Yes, thank you very much, Mike, for the wonderful introduction. My name is Christina. I'm from Freiburg, from Germany, and I'm the project manager of Upper Rhine Valley. We are in total 12 project partners from Germany, Switzerland, and France. And since 10 years, we are promoting successfully the beautiful Upper Rhine Valley. Let me tell you now more about the geographic location. One of our partner is the Euro Airport Basel-Freiburg. There are more than 90 direct flights from the Euro Airport, and there are 9 million passengers per year. Unfortunately, there are no direct flights from the US, but you can, for example, fly via Amsterdam with KLM or Delta Airlines, or via Frankfurt with United Airlines or Lufthansa. You can also travel within the Upper Rhine Valley by train. There's an excellent public transportation system with a high-speed service, and you have only 30 minutes to 2 hours between the cities. And also by car, there is an excellent highway network where you can reach the different cities.
Well, one thing I'd like to add briefly to that is, of course, it is in the context of all of Europe, it is a rather small area. We're talking about a size of about New Jersey, even a bit smaller than New Jersey. And you're covering, in that region, you're covering 3 particular countries. And alone from North America, we have more than 500,000 overnights. So you could say it is something that's not known by a lot of people, but more and more people are discovering that. And I believe it is As we all know, at least we do when we travel, we'd like to visit different countries, different areas. There is hardly an area within Europe where you can have such different cultures. The Swiss culture, dare I say, is very different from what's happening in Germany or what's happening in France. So in a very, very tiny area, and everything can be reached within a two-hour ride, it's all close together. Sorry, Christina.
It's okay. Thank you very much, Mike. Okay. So, river cruises in the Upper Rhine Valley. A cruise on the Rhine between Basel and Amsterdam is a unique experience. You can discover the Upper Rhine Valley before or after your trip. The St. John's landing stage is located just 10-minute walk from the city center of Basel.
Okay. Is that me again?
If you know, it's me, it's still me, but I just, okay. So now let me start talking about the cities in the Upper Rhine Valley. As you can see here, there is Strasbourg, Colmar, and Mulhouse in Alsace. In Switzerland, we have Basel, and in Germany we have Baden-Baden, Karlsruhe, Baden-Baden, and Freiburg. I will now start with Strasbourg. Strasbourg is the seat of the European Parliament and numerous European institutions such as the Council of Europe. The cathedral celebrated its 1,000 years a couple of years ago, and its two districts labeled as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the Grand Ile and its Petit France on one hand, and since 2018, the Neustadt or German Quarter, dating from the German period between 1870 and the First World War. Then we have Colmar. It's called the comfortable city. It is the capital of Alsace-Wine. Colmar is at the heart of the 170-kilometer long wine route. And when Colmar celebrates its wine at the annual summer festival, it draws nearly 250,000 visitors. Colmar will captivate those who take a look around its charming little lanes, taste the tart flambé, and admire the world-class works of art. The next city in Alsace is Mulhouse. It's the car and textile printing city. It's an El Dorado for technology, economy, and industry. Here you can see how Europe's wealth came into being and how the future can be shaped as a network in a sustainable and ecological manner. Mulhouse is the European capital of technical museum and its notable collection of fabrics and old cars, which are universally unique and exceptional from both their quality and importance standpoints. Now we're traveling to Germany. Karlsruhe, it's the media city. Karlsruhe is the youngest city of the cities in the Upper Rhine Valley. It was founded in 1715. The neoclassical city is still young and dynamic to this very day. A center of progress evolved during the last 300 years around the magnificent residential palace, which was built by the Markgraf of Baden. Karlsruhe leads the way, especially in the technology and communication. It is globally recognized as a media city and a center for the arts. Baden-Baden, also in Germany, it's the elegant city. The Belle Epoque meets the age of Instagram is the headline of the New York Times, recently used to describe Baden-Baden. And it's certainly true that today the city's rich history blends seamlessly with a highly contemporary lifestyle. The lifestyle is also reflected in the new claim of the city called the Good Life. The claim is also promised to all international guests. Baden-Baden also stands for spa resorts, gambling, horse racing, music, dance and theater, beautiful landscape, a Mediterranean climate, tennis, golf, and riding. And for very, very good hotels. Germany's oldest and, according to Marlene Dietrich, the most beautiful casino in the world, rounds off a perfect day in a playful manner and entices international guests to try their luck at a roulette table. Freiburg, it is the Mediterranean city. Freiburg is blessed by the sun and surrounded by rolling green black forest hills. Freiburg offers its visitors southern flair and a warm, positive feel. But what else makes Freiburg such a pleasant place to visit besides of the beautiful setting and temperature? It is the lovely countryside, the well-preserved old town, the lively cultural scene, the outstanding local wines and cuisine, and the city's relaxed Mediterranean flair. The most famous monument is the cathedral. Widely regarded as a miracle of the medieval mason's craft, its single spire is one of the great masterpieces of Gothic architecture in Europe. Freiburg's cathedral was spared in the bombing during the war and now bears witness to over 800 years of history. Around the cathedral, there's the beautiful old town with a colorful market square and a wealth of impressive historical buildings from a variety of periods. There's a lot of hustle and bustle on a weekday mornings on the large cathedral markets surrounding Freiburg's landmark. Fresh fruit, vegetables, flowers, and so much more attract people just like the Lange Rode, Freiburg's legendary bratwurst. Now we are in Switzerland, in Basel. And Basel is bordering Germany and France. Basel is the artist city. It's a combination of authentic Swiss quality and a multicultural population make this city unmistakably cosmopolitan and innovative. Basel is often referred to as Switzerland's cultural capital. Not only because the city is home to the oldest public art collection dating from 1661, but also because Basel, with its world-famous museums and high-caliber events, has become a hotspot for the art world. So I give over to you, Mike.
Yes, wonderful. So I'll take over. Well, I have one thing I wanted to briefly add to the Basel-Mulhouse airport, the Euro airport for you nuts and buffs in regards to airports. The airport actually just celebrated its 75th birthday 2 weeks ago. Funny side information is that it's the only airport in the world with three-letter codes. One airport, and I know it sounds a little strange, but if you want to look it up and you can double check, you find BSL for Basel, you find MLH for Mulhouse, and you find EAP for Euro Airport. And all three-letter codes lead to the very same airport. And another unique thing, it is operated by two countries. It is operated by France and by Switzerland, and they share that airport. So it's a really very unique situation. So I hope you will never actually forget that one. Now, of course, as you know, Europe is full of wining and dining opportunities, and that is even more so the case in the Upper Rhine Valley, because in a very small region, you will find tremendous opportunities for all kinds of different foods. France, as you know, French food, we're all familiar with that, is it presented in a slightly different way because the Alsace area is a little bit more down to the some basic foods you saw in some of the pictures, and you'll see later again. You have, as we would say in German, sauerkraut. So you have a cabbage, but that is a very, very well-known dish actually in the Alsace area. We have all kinds of wines in the area. You have tremendous winemaking, as a matter of fact, on both sides of the Rhine. So in the eastern part, it's obviously on the German side, and in the western part, you have the Alsace area, and it is a more dry part, predominantly drier wine in that area, and it gives you plenty of opportunity to really sample local wines and to go from one winery to the next. Let's move on. And obviously there is tremendous fine dining. If memory serves me right, I forgot the exact numbers, more than 70 Michelin-starred restaurants in the Upper Rhine Valley region alone. So we're not only talking about bratwurst, and we're not only talking about the very heavy, meaty things that you see here. Obviously, some of you familiar with the Swiss cuisine, you may appreciate the raclette cheese, that you heat the cheese in the little pans. Tremendous opportunity to enjoy cheese, obviously from Switzerland. It's probably something, Christina, forgive me for saying that, but that Germany is not as well known for. The French cheeses and the Swiss cheeses certainly have a better ring to them. Let's put it this way. Okay, moving right along. We're going to the next slide, and we are obviously talking about shopping. Now, favorite pastime, when you look at any kind of research being done, what do people want to do? The further they travel away, the more they want to buy mementos. They want to have something as keepsakes to remind them of that. And of course, what is more well known than the cuckoo clock? Now, I'm sorry to have to disappoint some of you who believe that the cuckoo clock comes from Switzerland. That is definitely not the case. The traditional cuckoo clock, the first one surfaced in 1619, and not even in the Black Forest. However, the Black Forest then started making them from the 18th century on. And in the early days, they used pipes to imitate the sound of the cuckoo. But nowadays, when we go to the next slide, you see there are modern ways of cuckoo clocks. So you do not have to have the old versions. And there are outright really crazy ones, as you see in the next slide. Even those are considered cuckoo clocks. There is a well-known artist in the Black Forest who hand makes these in very different ways. Now, we've always been wondering, and when I lived in the States, I was always confronted with the feedback that a lot of people believe that it originates in Switzerland. And we found out that one of the books that Astrid Lindgren, the famous Swedish writer, kids books writer, she had published in one of the books that it was made in, that cuckoo clocks are being made in Switzerland. Well, you now know that is not the case. Moving right along, what can we buy in France, in that area? And obviously Alsatian pottery and Alsatian wine are phenomenal, and also not only the wine itself, but also the sparkling wine, the champagne. which of course, if we use the French word champagne, it's attached to the Champagne area. If we use the American word, then we are allowed to say champagne to pretty much everything that bubbles, and you can really rely on very, very good wines from that area. And then obviously going to Switzerland, and this may be where that misunderstanding stems from, Swiss watches, of course, especially wrist watches. That is what Switzerland is known for, and I say no secret that Lindt chocolates are famous in the States as well. So any kind of chocolate from Switzerland, you can be blindfolded and you'll be able to identify that. So moving along to that, I believe this would be Christina again.
Yes, that's me. So I will tell you something about art and culture in the Upper Rhine Valley. The Upper Rhine Valley has also plenty to offer to lovers of modern art. The multitude of museums and exhibition halls between Karlsruhe and Basel cover virtually the whole spectrum of modern art, ranging from classical modern to the latest form of contemporary art. One example is the Fondation Baylor in Basel. You can see it here. The famous collection of renowned art-dealing duo Ernst and Hildi Baylor is home to around 200 preeminent 20th century masterpieces, with primary focus on classical modernism. One particularly appealing feature of the foundation is the interplay between the art and the spellbinding architecture of the museum, in conjunction with temporary exhibition of the highest international caliber. Here you can see the Augustina Museum in Freiburg. The Augustina Museum offers an elegant combination of historical material and modern elements, making it an architectural jewel. The museum is admired far beyond Freiburg, and not only for its constructions. The Augustina Museum presents a renowned art collection with work ranging from the Middle Ages up to the Baroque period, as well as paintings from the 19th century. Palaces and castles in 3 countries. In the Upper Rhine Valley, you can find palaces and castles like pearls on a string. Every point here in the map you can see is a palace or a castle. Would you like to travel back in the times to the days of kings, queens, knights, and ladies? Then the Upper Rhine Valley enchant you with its centuries-old histories and dazzling display of historic architecture. We have, for example, in Karlsruhe, the Karlsruhe Palace. The Baden State Museum offers a spectacular overview of more than 5,000 years of international cultural history. Marvelous highlights await you in Karlsruhe Palace. For example, one of the best antique collections in Germany with objects from the Cycladic period, early advanced civilizations, and ancient Greece. Another highlight in the Upper Rhine Valley is the Hochkönigsburg. It is located in the heart of Alsace and invites you to discover almost 900 years of history. A wide range of tours are available for every taste and age group.
Well, and then we're moving on to the next slide, and that is some of the really unique things. And Christina, if you could hit the
yes,
Third button, exactly. Now, some of you may have seen these before. They're the traditional costumes and especially the traditional hats of the ladies in the Black Forest. And would you believe it, still nowadays, once in a while, these are being worn, obviously, it's a local costume that's predominantly worn on a Sunday in smaller villages. Now, it's important for you to know there are, on these hats, there are very strict rules. There are 14 pom-poms per hat, 11 of which you can see. The total weight of that hat is about 4 to 5 pounds. Just imagine 4 to 5 pounds. And one of the really peculiarities is when you're an unmarried lady, then you wear red pom-poms. You want to attract the guys. Now, once you're married, the color of your hat changes to black pom-poms. You're in mourning. You've been married and you're really sorry you did. So that's why they're, no, I'm kidding. But I'm only kidding as to why they're black. But really, those change to black when you're married. So what else is very special about that area? On the next slide, you'll see, obviously, the Rhine swimming, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Christmas markets, you're familiar with that. And of course, the carnival, the local carnival in Switzerland, in the south of Germany, which is very, very different from any kind of carnival in the rest of Germany. Very, very much to the past, to the history of the Alemannen. And when we switch to the next slide, you'll see another picture of the swimming in the Rhine in Basel. Now, you may not believe that. It is a hell of a lot of fun. And Doug, if you would, maybe you can show the quick 1-minute video so our guests have an idea what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So you see, this is a really very special, unique opportunity for people to cool off in the summer. It is a wonderful opportunity. You know, swim or float down the river, and as you saw in the last part of the video, it really ends pretty much where the Rhine River cruise ships anchor. And it's in the middle of the city. And even if you say, well, my clients won't ever do that, it is certainly fantastic to watch on a hot summer day. People just taking a swim. They use these bags to put their clothes in. to have their dry clothes, to have their towels, and then they, a few hundred meters down the river, go out of the water again, and some go back and do the whole stretch again. It's a heck of a lot of fun. So moving along, but I think we're getting very close to the end. We have, of course, all kinds of festivals, wine festivals, the autumn fair, very important. There are a lot of opportunities to enjoy Christmas markets, of course, and last but not least, the carnival. But it happens to be in usually February, and that may prove to be a little colder. What I do want to highlight for you briefly is, of course, when we move on, is that still my part? Yes, it is. No, that's yours. I'm sorry. Ha! Christina, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Okay. I will move on. Okay. So we have different landscapes in the Apron Valley. You can see here we have the Black Forest. In Germany, we have the Vosges in Alsace, in France, and we have the Basel region. And the Apron Valley is the ideal vacation destination for active explorers. And this means you can go hiking, climbing, canyoning, cycling, and so on. To inform you about the seasons activities, you can perhaps in spring you can visit the markets in the cities. In the summer you can go on a Rhine cruise. In autumn you can visit the wine festivals, and in winter you can go skiing in the Black Forest. What to do in the Apron Valley? As I already said, you can go skiing, golfing, biking, hiking, river rafting. You can visit a beautiful spa in the Apron Valley just to relax. You can explore the region and cities by old-timer trams and sightseeing boats or city trains. You can cruise on the Rhine, visit a watchmaking company, discover the Basel Zoo, craft yourself chocolate on a workshop, or visit the Monkey Mountain.
Well, and with that, obviously we come to another favorite pastime, and do I know it's an American favorite pastime as well? You go to Europa Park. Well, Europa Park is Europe's answer to Walt Disney. It is a family-owned theme park, has won, would you believe it, a couple of times the World Award, the top of theme parks, a number of times. It is, would you believe, a family-owned and run park. And the fascinating thing is its history. The Mack family, which still owns the park today, started out in 1780 as a company to make carriages and coaches, stage coaches, which obviously in those days were very popular. So they started with that. Then later on, they started wagons for circuses and so on. And then they started making the first roller coaster in 1921. And they delivered designed roller coasters already as early as 1921. That's the one thing. But they also deliver roller coasters with that company on a worldwide basis. Dare I say, I've worked for Walt Disney in the theme parks before. They also deliver roller coasters to Disney, to Six Flags, to Universal Studios. It's fascinating. And then they wanted to, in the early 70s, make a permanent exhibition. And that's how they dreamt up Europa Park. And today, by far, besides Europe, Disneyland Paris, it is Europe's biggest theme park with 6 million visitors, and it's only open seasonally. It's not open year round, but most of the time it's open. I can only wholeheartedly recommend going there. You have fantastic opportunities. And with that, I'll turn over for the last time to Christina.
Thank you very much, Mike. I just want to explain you the distances between the 3 countries for your perfect city day in 3 countries in the Upper Rhine Valley. This means you can, for example, you can have breakfast and sightseeing in Freiburg in Germany. Then you can drive by car less than 1 hour to Colmar in France, in Alsace. There you can have lunch and wine tasting. Then you can drive less than 1 hour by car from Colmar to Basel, and there you can have dinner and the Rhine cruise. The same, your perfect nature day in 3 countries. In the morning, you can visit the Black Forest in Germany. Then you can drive to Alsace and visit the Hochkönigsburg. And in the evening, you can drive by car to Basel, Switzerland, and go to the mountain and enjoy the beautiful views. In the Upper Rhine Valley, we have different guest cards where you can, for example, the Basel card, the Schwarzwald card, or the Freiburg welcome card. There you have free publication transport. You have a lot of discounts, and you have a discount on Basel Zoo Theater and Basel guided tours and so on. This is very important to know. So I think we've come to the end. We would be very happy if you visit us on upperrhinevalley.com. And yes, Mike, if you have
we're available for questions. We've overrun already, but I'm very glad to see that pretty much everyone has stayed with us. Doug, thank you very much for your patience.
Absolutely.
We had a lot to cramp in, and there are some very unique things in that area which cannot be seen anyplace else in Europe.
Well, I thought it was a fantastic presentation, and I think those last few slides of Christina's highlighting the ability to be able to experience 3 countries within a day, and obviously 3 countries within a vacation, is a great selling point for our travel advisors. That's something really unique. And Mike, by the way, I'll be the first person to jump into the Rhine in Basel and go swimming. Count me in.
It is so unique, and this is why we felt so compelled to share that video. And obviously, you find dozens of videos on YouTube, where, by the way, we stole that one from. It's so much fun. It's something that a single picture doesn't do any justice, and this is why there are hundreds of people lining the banks of the river to just watch, but there are a lot of people doing that.
Fantastic. It's on the bucket list. New to the bucket list. Okay, just a reminder to everybody, please send in any questions you may have. And also a reminder that this webinar has been recorded. It will be available by Monday on www.jaxfax.com underneath the Advisor Resources menu. We'll also send you a link for it, so watch for that. Great. And let's see, let me jump into a couple questions here. One question we have is there a better country to base yourself for making the day trips?
Ooh, it's difficult to say. I mean, when you look from a budgetary point of view, obviously, I think it would be unfair not to mention that Switzerland is more expensive than Germany or France. So from a fairness point of view, yes, Switzerland is more expensive. But then again, it has other advantages. if you're on a tight budget, I'd probably place yourself in the Black Forest or in Alsace and go across the border and come back again. But Switzerland is unique, but for budgetary purposes, yes.
Okay, great. Actually, no other questions. Couple comments. Somebody's mentioning they were on a Rhine Christmas market cruise a couple of years ago. That was fabulous. The area is everything you say it is, and they would love to go back in spring or fall. Great presentation, brings back fond memories. There's just a couple more messages saying thank you for the wonderful presentation, and I will echo that sentiment. Thank you very much. I think everybody learned a lot today. I know I did. Oh, we do have another question here. Does Colmar have a Christmas market?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay, fantastic.
It does.
Great.
Now, obviously, Christmas markets, you have to play it by ear, how things will pan out this year. But as things are opening up, I think with a bit of social distancing, even Christmas markets should be working this winter.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
All right, great. Well, I think that will wrap things up for today. Mike, Christina, thank you very much for the presentation. And travel advisors, thank you for joining us today. We do appreciate it. Please stay tuned for future sessions. And with that, we will sign off and wish you all a great day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
attention.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye now.